19th, 2006 at Pontiac Township High School in Pontiac, Illinois. Today we are interviewing Mr. Eugene Lyons, who was born on July 30th, 1927. Interviewing him today will be myself, John Haley, and Russell Zier and Amy Davis. We are associated with Pontiac Township High School AP U.S. History class. Mr. Lyons served in the Korean War with the Army as a military police officer, and his highest rank achieved was a corporal. Alright, so Mr. Lyons, how and why did you join the military?
I was drafted.
Alright.
My mother died when I was a senior in high school, and I had 2 younger sisters and 3 younger brothers. A lot of the guys in my group joined right out of high school. I didn't, but I thought I'd better stay home and take care of them. And then I ended up being drafted when I was 18, and that's how I ended up in the Army.
Alright. Why did you pick the service branch you joined?
They sent me to the Army.
They sent you to the branch. Okay. Do you recall your first days in service, and how did you feel?
So I did what?
Do you recall the first days?
Oh, heavens, yes. I'd never been out of the state of Illinois. 60 years ago, you didn't wander around like we do today. And I went to Kankakee, and then I got a bus out of Chicago to Breckenridge, Kentucky, and got there at 2 o'clock in the morning, and I was on KP at 4. Yes, I remember the first day in the Army very clearly.
Alright. Tell me about your boot camps or training experiences.
Training experiences?
Yeah.
I was in the 101st Airborne in Breckenridge, Kentucky. Finished up my basic, sent me to Fort Benning, Georgia. I was in the infantry there in Sand Hill. Corporal, the CO come out one morning and said, or told me the night before, he said, I'm going to ask for volunteers in the morning and hold your hand up. No, I'm not going to volunteer for nothing, no. So he comes out the next morning and says, I need volunteers for the MPs. And I looked around and nobody raised their hands up, and I looked at him and I thought, you're dead by dark if you're lying to me. Go get your gear and get out of here, the Jeep's coming to get you. That was in the MPs. Thank God.
Yeah. While serving overseas, where all did you travel?
Well, I took a prisoner from California back to Japan. I picked that prisoner up in California. He was going back to Japan for murder and rape, and I had the pleasure of taking him back. We're walking up the gangplank. I've got my backpack on, I got my rifle, I got my pistol on, got him handcuffed to me, and the gangplank was right down there, clear up to that corner. And the sea in San Francisco Bay was kind of like this, and I got sicker than a dog. I stopped and I heaved over the side, got rid of breakfast. I turned and got back up there and got the captain of the ship. You got it when you're armed, you have to report in. You got to get permission. Permission to board ship, sir? I guess so. And I asked him where the brig was, because I wanted to take this guy down and lock him up. Every day I had to take him up for meals. Every day I had to take him on the fantail to exercise. And every day he said, I'm jumping today. I'd go ahead, jump, I don't care. You'll be dead when you hit the water, so don't worry about it. If you want to jump, jump. Me never did. Ended up in Japan with him. I got to ride a train into Tokyo. I took the chance of doing these things. Who knows where I am. And nobody told me where I had to report. So I had the pleasure of saying I rode a train. That's when they stuck you in there like this. Then I went to Sasebo and got a ride to Incheon, Korea. Landed there first day of December of 1950.
Okay. What was it like when you first arrived in Korea?
In Korea?
Yeah.
2100. Me in summer uniform, because we were not ready to go to war. My rifle was full of Cosling, couldn't use it, no ammunition. I had my pistol, because I always had my pistol. But that's not worth a whole lot when you're got 10,000 or 100,000 Chinese bearing down on you. Isn't worth a whole lot. I traded my rifle for one I found laying along the road. The guy didn't need his. So I gave him mine, his work. He had some ammunition, so I took it. Time I got to Sewell, I found a guy that didn't need his carbine anymore, so I gave him my M1 and took his carbine. That was a lot lighter to carry. Now I had a carbine and my pistol. I found some more. You'll see some pictures in my book. I got a Chinese hat on. I finally got some clothes that was warm. I didn't have any clothes that was warm until the last of December, and they finally got clothes caught up with us. I had just some summer fatigues, a summer sleeping bag. I have no idea why I didn't freeze to death. And it was cold. It was terrible. Everything you ate was froze. And I don't drink coffee. I still don't drink coffee. And they'd bring a water wagon in with to build a fire underneath it, throw the water out, and the guys get their water out for coffee. And I could try to get some hot water for my hot chocolate. And usually they didn't have any water left time I got there. And,
Alright. What was your job like?
Being an MP in Korea, an escort guard outfit, I had to go to Sewell. I walked to Sewell from Ascom City. I got a ride from Incheon to Ascom, and I walked to Sewell. My job was to, that's when I already heard the statement, we're not retreating, we're advancing in the opposite direction. When the Chinese were shoving and the North Koreans were shoving us back again, we went back down to clear the Busan. I had to keep the bridge open to let the army cross. The refugees and South Koreans were out to get out of there too. And they were just there by the thousands. And I'd have to try to shut them off, and I'm by myself. And you could hear shooting in the background, and the Chinese are getting closer. And it was scary. And I was probably one of the last guys across the bridge. And how I got from going across that bridge to Daejeon, I have no idea. I know they say you can affect your mind. I buy this. I don't know what I had to have walked. But I don't remember. I absolutely do not remember doing it. I got on a train, and I trained to Busan. Found my old outfit from Fort Benning. Fort Benning. And of course, then I was put back and taking care of the prisoners, and that was my beginning.
Right. Did you ever see any combat?
Yes.
Yeah.
The first part of December. My first night up in the mountains, we could hear the Chinese coming up. They sent patrols out, and they always double time. There might be 6 or 8 of them, and there only maybe one rifle. And if you caught a prisoner, or caught a guy, he usually had a pocket full of rice. That's all he had. And that was supposed to keep him alive for 4 days. Because 4 days is all he's going to be gone, he'd be back. And I'm scared to death that night. I'm up there with those guys, and I said, anybody going to start shooting? No, don't shoot them. Just let them go, they'll be back. We'll shoot them when they come back. And I couldn't understand why. What's the matter, you guys? Well, I found out, if you shoot them when they're running up the mountain to you, their buddies down there know where they are, where you are. Let them go on by, they hurt nobody. All they're doing is looking, let them go on. When they come back, come morning, that's when you shoot them. Because then at the daylight, they're not going to reveal themselves down at the bottom. And all they're doing is check us out, see what's going on. You know. And we never shot them coming uphill, we always just let them go. Horrible thing to do, but.
Alright. Were you ever in any major battles?
No, not a battle per se. This medal right there has got 3 battle stars on it, of which I guess I was there. I sure don't remember. It was battle-wise. Yes, I heard a lot of shooting. Big gun shooting, yes. This medal here is got that brown star in the middle of it. That was because I was in. You want that?
Sure.
Because I was in Seoul when the Chinese arrived. Right here. It's right here.
Alright.
This medal here is Korean Unit Citation. That's the medal I really wanted. That's from the Presidential Unit Citation. Sigmund Rhee, I have a statement, maybe in my scrapbook there, signed by Sigmund the President of South Korea, and I can't tell you what all the medals are. There's good conduct in there, and can you read all of them? What's that on some of them?
Yeah, efficiency, honor, and fidelity medal, national defense, and then just some other. Very cool. What were some of your most memorable experiences while overseas?
When I finally got with Chinese prisoners, I was put in charge of General Hang Lee. He's the highest ranking officer we ever captured. He fluent in English, educated at Yale, Harvard, went to big school in Paris. He went there. He was a true blue communist. He believed in communism. And my dad just bought a new tractor, and he sent me a picture of it. And the first question I showed it to him, the first question he asked me is, how many people is this going to replace? He said, this is disgraceful. You think that you're going to take jobs away from all these people. Of course, he was used to using a grubbing hoe. I said, my dad is by himself. I'm in Korea. I'm not there to help him. He has to have that tractor. We'd argue. Every night I had to go down and check on him. And we'd argue, we made a couple hours. Americanism, you know, the isms. I never convinced him that I was right and he was wrong, because he was going to convince me the other way, you know. He was fun to talk to, but he was a true blue communist. And now my interpreter was with me, was the oldest son. The oldest son goes home. He goes back home and takes care of dad and mom and takes care of the acre rice paddy. That's his goal in life, that's his duty. And Huang was his name. He could speak English, Korean, Japanese, Chinese, Russian. Highly educated, mostly educated, self-taught. And his goal was, if he couldn't go home, and he'd like to be an interpreter to UN. That was what he wanted to do. Well, there was nothing I wish I could have helped him, but he hurt when I had to leave him behind, and because he just going to go home and start farming with his acre rice paddy, and take care of dad and mom. And I really missed him. I had a little houseboy. You got a picture of a little kid there by me? You seen that in their book? Am I getting ahead of myself there? We're supposed to talk about that later on. I bawled the day I left him there, because I picked him up. There's a picture of him over there when we were getting on a train, and I brought him all the way to Kojito. And he was my houseboy. He took care of me and did my laundry and got my meals for me, made my bed. When I finally got a bed, it was tough leaving him. And I feel bad about it, because I should have gotten a name. I didn't do it. I got a name out of him. And of course, I never dreamed the world would turn out the way it did on the internet and all this stuff. Now maybe somebody was smart enough to punch him in and we'd find him. But well, I'll never find him now. So I wish I could, but.
Right. So how did you stay in touch with your family while all this was going on?
Just writing letters. They didn't quite like the war today when I email, and this drives me up the wall. So I'm sorry. I'm not. Don't get me wrong. We didn't have that stuff in Korea. You know. There's 90-some letters in that book I wrote home, and my dad saved every one of them. Don't ask me why. The house burned down, and my sister got them out of there. My uniforms burned up and all that stuff, but my letters, thank God, they got out of there. So.
All right. How did you get through rough times while you were overseas with all the things that you saw and went through?
Well, you spend a lot of time, you're scared, put it that way. You think about, am I going to make it tonight? Pull that old rifle in real, or in my case a carbine, get it real close to you, you'll love it a lot, you know. I always patted Bertha down there, make sure it was still there. Always made sure my pockets were. If I would have been hit, it'd have been a disaster, because my pockets, my field jacket were always full of hand grenades. I had two 30-round clips for my carbine, so I had 60 rounds I could rip off. I had extra bullets in another pocket. If I'd been hit, I would have just blew up. And I was a walking landmine. But I was by myself so much of the time. I had to be, because I was, you know, some officer come through there and said, "There's so many prisoners over there, you got to go get them." I never wore an armband, because that's a dead giveaway. Because that's the best way in the world to get shot. They hate MPs. I liked the job. It was different. But how you get through the hard times at night, a lot of nights you don't sleep. You get real tired. But you can stay awake for days. When you're getting shot at,
What were some of the pranks that you and others might have pulled, just to or other fun things that you might have done to pass the time?
Here at Breckenridge, and 101st Airborne was esprit de corps, I think I pronounced that right, is very high in the airborne. I was a tough little devil. I could rip off 300 push-ups, think nothing of it. It was tough. I'm 19 years old, I can do anything. And the upstairs went out the right-hand door, the bottom bunks, there were two-story barracks, they went out the left-hand door. Well, you run all those guys out through two doors, somebody's going to get killed. And when the whistle blew at 5 o'clock in the morning, you better be standing in line. And some of us would cheat and get stand down by the door, wait for the whistle blow, and then we'd go out. But there was always somebody late, because there was no way out of it. There was somebody late, that he can't get through the door. And this smart cadre, he says, "Well, if the doors are in your way, bring it with you." So we're laying there in bed that night, deciding how we're going to do this. We're going to bring the doors with us out to Beverly tomorrow morning. If that's what he said to do, that's what we'll do. So the first two guys that hit the doors, two guys on each door, don't unlock it. Just take it off. Just run right through it. The next two guys catch the door, because those guys are going to fall down. And we took the doors out to Beverly. Well, we got real cold after that, because they didn't put them back on. We were just destroying government property. They didn't think it was funny at all. They never dreamed we'd do it. That we did. We had to prop those stupid doors up there to keep the wind blowing in. This is December in Kentucky. It's not that warm in Kentucky in December. I got down to Fort Benning. We asked them for volunteers. One day I asked for truck drivers. And I thought, you don't ask for volunteer truck drivers because the Army's got thousands of them. They don't need any more volunteers. And then I noticed there's piles of coal out on the company street. And every barracks had a furnace in the back. It gets cold in Georgia in the wintertime. And somebody had to stoke that furnace up, and that's how you heated your hot water and that. That's what needed truck drivers for. There's a wheelbarrow with a handle on each end. Two truck drivers to a truck. You scoop it full of coal and you haul it down, put it in the back, dump it in the bin. You go back and get another load until you get rid of that pile. They had 4 truck drivers for every barracks. And then you caught on real quick, no volunteer. That's just stupid. One day I decided I'm going to be the, I'll never forget this, be the soldier of the weekend. And if I can pass inspection, my barracks gets 3-day passes. So I'm going to do it. And I told everybody, I said, we're going to win this thing, you guys. You're going to have to help me. So I took my dress khakis and took them back down to the laundry and I had them re-starch them. And the pleats were they just stood out there. You know, you've seen guys got their shirts really ironed out. Oh boy, I had neat 3 stripes down the back. You know, took my hat, had it starched. Saturday morning, we worked on getting my bed. I didn't sleep in my bed, and I slept on the floor. And a good bunk bed, you can flip a quarter on it, and it'll bounce just like a basketball. And my bed was beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So don't wreck it. You know, sleep on the floor. Don't let nobody touch that. Next morning, I got my uniform out, and they held my pants, and they picked me up, and they slid me down into my pants, so they wouldn't break the crease. I'm gonna win this thing. And everybody, oh boy, I hope he pulls this off. Man, I hope he pulls this off. And I'm standing by my foot locker, stiff it up over. I'm going to have to do this. I'm going to have to break this crease because I'm going to have to salute him when the officer comes in, see? And I'm just standing there. He comes in, he looked at me and says, "Well, soldier, you ready?" Yes, sir. He reached in his pocket and he pulled these white gloves out. And I thought, what is he going to do? And he reached underneath the edge of my bed and he goes, on my rail. Whoops, you forgot to clean the other side of the rail. I had shined my shoes till you, when you were standing up, you could look down and see yourself. And we forgot the stupid rail on the bed. I get down to the MPs, I work nights, I drove the bus, and I walked the beat in Columbus, Georgia, Phoenix City, Alabama. I rode in the squad car to the city police. I didn't get back in until 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to go to bed. We're going to have a general inspection. And they said, boy, Lyons, you got to get your hair ready. Well, I didn't worry about it, man. Anybody come in, after midnight, I'd been working all day. No, I don't worry about it. I just shut the foot locker door and I said, that clown wakes me up in the morning, he can go look at it himself. And I went to bed. And I heard him yell, "Hear that?" Oh, God, I'll just pretend I'm asleep. And here he comes. It's what I told you to do in the bed. He just got off work, sir. Get him out. I jump out of bed and when I got out of my shorts, there I stood. Look at your locker. Of course, we rolled your socks. You ever seen how socks are rolled up in the army? They're nice tight rolls. Well, I mean, you've got to have these right. Well, I had 4 or 5 pairs of them I never used. I had them just for inspection. My other socks, I hid them. So when it comes to inspection time, they were out of sight. These are the only ones that were showing. Well, I threw my socks in my footlocker when I come on undressed. And there they laid. He said, that footlocker sure a mess, soldier. And I guess, sir. And I'm not going to say, give me no excuses. I got no excuses. Well, tie that mess up. And he walked down the line, and the rest of the guys were going to kill me. They had broke their backs getting ready for this, and I did nothing. I was the most hated man in that building.
Do you recall the day your service ended?
Yes, sir. Yeah, you betcha. Fort Custer, Michigan. Well, there's 2 endings. When I got my notice in Koji, Korea, you're going home, and when I got Fort Custer, Michigan. I was with a kid from Joliet. We walked out there together. I had my $400 back pay. We were going to go to his place in Joliet and stay overnight, and he'd take me down to Pontiac here in the morning. We walked into a tavern, get a beer, and there's a clown sitting there reading the Daily Worker, communist newspaper. I won't tell you what we did to him, but we took his paper away from him, and we were not in the spirit to sit there and listen to that. And yes, I remember that record. I remember going out to the field the next day to see my daddy's combine notes. And he looked up and he said, change your clothes, we got work to get done. I went to Cornell the next day to get a Coke, see how Cornell looked. I got out of the car and the guy come across the street and he said, run the grocery store and said, you been gone? I ain't seen you around town. Yeah, Mort have been gone to a war. Oh, let's go into Coke here and I'll buy you a Coke. That's how I got home.
What did you do in the days and weeks after you returned home?
Well, today, what do they call it? Some kind of syndrome. Well, at that time, we didn't know it. I had a horrible time because I went back to work in Elgin. That's where I worked for the oil company. Did a little drinking. Did a lot of wandering around. Couldn't sleep. I couldn't get used to not being shot at. That noise. I was, of course, I should have been used to it because there was no shooting on Koji. Nobody carried a gun. You didn't dare carry a gun down there. I couldn't get over that. Like I say, nobody shooting at me. That constant rat-a-tat-tat-tat-tat. That just drives you nuts. No, that's, like I say, it took me a long time. When my wife, I finally got married, and my wife went to a Girl Scout cookout. She was gone for a couple of weeks. She came back home, and I was in bed. Jumped on top of me and got to be home, and I just picked her up and threw her right against the wall. I didn't know who she was or anything else. And I felt terrible afterwards, but that fall I was come home and help my dad, and he dug the carrots, and we kept them put them in a white sack, and he hung them in a chicken house. They wouldn't freeze. I went there after dark to gather eggs, and I saw that white sack hanging there. And of course, my mind flashed at the Chinamen because they always dressed in white. And I hit that bag of carrots. No one get him. Nobody gets me. My fist hurt for months after that because I hit that bag. Don't hit a bag of carrots. They're hard. They're a lot harder than the Chinamen. Yeah. Go on.
Did you make any close friendships while you were overseas?
I probably had more friends as prisoners than I did GIs. And I was alone too much of the time. And I was an electrician, I was a colonel's driver, Colonel Francis King, Major Keiko. Major Keiko and I were the first ones to arrive in Koji. Francis King, Colonel Francis, he hated the Army. He got called back into, he was a reservist, he got called back in, which I did too. When I went to Korea, I got called back. I was his driver. I had a Jeep. I had the only Jeep on Koji Island. It was a pushy job. I enjoyed every minute of it. Because nobody bothered me, because I was the colonel's driver. That's one reason I became corporal. And I wish I would have kept, he's dead now, I'm sure of that. I should have kept track of him, but I didn't. He was probably the closest guy to me all the time I was gone. And I wasn't with anybody. And the guys in Benning, in Fort Hood, Texas, we all got shipped out different places, and my brothers have buddies all over the country, but no, I don't.
How did your service and experiences affect you throughout your life, Chase?
Makes a man out of you. I say everybody should serve at least 1 year and learn to get away from home. Like I told you at the start, I'd never been out of the state of Illinois. If I hadn't went to the Army, I don't know what would have happened to me. I have no idea. I probably would have stayed home, maybe farm, maybe I've ended up in a brickyard after high school. There wasn't any reason for me to go anywhere. My relatives were all here in Pontiac or Peoria, and that was it. You just didn't go anywhere. You went to church in Cornell on Sunday, and you come to Pontiac and get groceries, and then when I get a little taste of the world, why, I've seen a lot of it since. I've been to on work trips to Haiti 6 times. I've been to Chile, and I've been to Puerto Rico, and I've been to Alaska 5 times, and I just got back from Hawaii here 3 weeks ago, and I've seen a lot of the world since. But I had to get to be 78 years old before that all happened.
Well, that's all the questions that we have for today, so if there's anything else you want to say?
Yeah.
No? Well then, thank you for your time, and this has been John Healy interviewing and Mr. Eugene Lyons. So 18th